Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Vincent. I usually like to start these things off with a joke, but seeing as a white guy in his 20s talking about feminism is enough irony for one lifetime, I'm just gonna skip that and go right into it. I do have some talking points, just let me get those out of my head. So yeah, my talk is about feminism and female empowerment. I'm a filmmaker myself, and I get to deal with those subjects kind of Jesus Christ, Vincent, in a day-to-day basis. And I will talk about that later, but before I jump into that, I like to tell you about the two types of feminism that I see in everyday life. The first one, which I would like to call true feminism, is like the feminism that most feminists hold close to their heart. It's pure, simple, it's equality. It's like everyone should be treated equally, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're black or white, rich, poor, whatever. And the second form of feminism is a little bit more toxic, and I will go into that a little bit later in the speech. So beautiful, these things. So yeah, how did we get from equality for all to a more toxic point of feminism? I think it started like about 20 years ago, when the focus of feminism kind of shifted. It started off as both men and women should be equal, and it kind of changed to women should be equal to men, which basically is the same. It gets the same results. It's not bad. It's not a thing that should be boycotted or anything. It's great. It's wonderful. But it did leave the door open for women who didn't feel like validated enough. Who are kind of like, I like to think of them of the female equivalent of Donald Trump. You know, the people who just talk and talk and talk and don't really say anything. And because we went from equality for all to a more women-centered form of feminism, those few people actually got a platform for themselves. And they got to talk about their own agendas, which to me is not the same as true feminism. And I feel like for very few individuals, we got to a point where they just are bashing men and just want a women's first movement instead of an equality movement, which I think is like the opposite of what feminism should be about. Had that one, great. So this leads to two things, it has two results. Not results, symptoms. The first symptom is that those feminists are always kind of aggressive. They're always like, they are always right. You can't really debate with them, which means that no matter what, you can't really engage in a conversation. You can't really talk about them. And I think that if you can't talk about the subject, you can't really solve it and you can't get further. And I think it's really important for some of these issues that we still have, like equal pay and whatnot, that we actually need to talk about it and not just scream at each other till the problem goes away. And the second one is that these feminists, I call them feminists, but they're not really feminists, but these feminists gain a lot of attention and a big following through media, because as we have seen with Donald Trump, for instance, when someone is screaming very loudly, he gets a lot of media attention. So what does this mean for actual feminism? The last one already, wonderful. It basically means that these toxic feminists kind of taint the image of real feminism in my eyes, which means that whenever someone brings up a subject that we definitely need to discuss, it always has some form of negative connotation because of these feminists that scream very loudly, who have a negative image about what feminism should be, and therefore feminism is seen as something bad, where it's actually something really, really good. So that's kind of a backstory to what I deal with on a day-to-day basis. Like I told you, I'm a filmmaker. And weirdly enough, most of these women who claim they're feminists but actually really want to further their own agenda, those kind of like the Donald Trump feminists, as I like to call them, tend to be actresses for some reason. I don't know. Maybe that's just my experience with them. I tend to cast a lot of men in my films, mainly because I also write my own films and I'm a man. So it's easier for me to get into the head of a male character than get into the head of a female character. I mean, I have no idea what you ladies are going through on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, it's easier for me to write male characters, and that doesn't mean that I don't use female characters, but I just use male characters a lot more. And I actually get threatened a lot and get a lot of hate from actresses who feel like they're entitled to a role in my film. Let's say I have known them for like 4 to 5 years and I haven't cast them yet. And my argument is always, well, if I cast every actor I know, I would have to make a film with about 300 roles in it, and that's just terrible. But yeah, basically I get a lot of backlash from these more toxic feminists who feel like they're entitled to roles in my film. And I have been thinking about it a lot the past couple of months, and I think I found a solution to shut them up and fight for equality in all film. A thing that has been very popular over the past couple of months is colorblind casting, which is basically casting a role and getting in actors from all different backgrounds, nationalities, skin tones, whatever. I want to take that a step further, and I want to introduce gender-blind casting. And I kind of want to, regardless of role, want to get in men, ladies, whatever, everything in between. And I want to just give the role to the person who is best fitted for that role instead of the person who kind of, who say I write a male character and a woman can do it better. I'd rather cast that woman than cast my original idea of a man. And there's actually some move in Hollywood right now that does this as well. I don't know if some of you know the Hollywood show, FX show Legion right now. It's from the makers of Fargo, not the film, the series. And they've introduced a female character played by Aubrey Plaza. And her role was specifically written for a male character, and she came into the audition room and she stood her ground and she was rocking it. And so the director of that show just gave her the role. And I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to get everyone to accept women more and get them better roles, even if those roles weren't initially meant for women, but meant for men. So that's my talk. I hope you enjoyed it.